Meow 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 everybody. I'm Kentonese Cat. Hi everybody, Kentonese Cat here. I'm not gonna go for too much to explain the Ichimoku cloud. I spent plenty of time in previous videos, including the weekend video that I gave you about. There's like a 30-minute video that I was talking about different miners. I was talking about different indicators, including the Ichimoku cloud. It's a little bit intimidating to look at first, but it's really not bad. All you have to know is that all these lines, including the red line right here, which is the Tenkan, blue line right here is the Kijin, and also these lines over here, up here, the green and the red line here that forms the Ichimoku cloud. All of these can serve as either resistance or support. We're looking at the monthly chart of CleanSpark here. You can see that the Tenkan has previously served as support, and then once it broke down, it served as resistance all the way down until it got flipped back into support again, which is recently where we're at right now. These lines again can serve as support and resistance, and you can also see that right now price is above both the Tenkan and Kijin, and then there's also a little bit of a bullish cross here between Tenkan and Kijin line over here on the monthly. Kijin tends to lag and Tenkan tends to lead, so when there's a little bit of a cross right here, you have a bullish cross. This is usually an indicator where you might have a longer term monthly bull trend, which can go on potentially for longer, for about a year or two. Now, they just crossed about last month, and there's a big giant green candle over here last month, push above the Tenkan and Kijin. And right now, price is above both of these lines and is trying to push inside to the Ichimoku cloud. Last one, it got rejected pretty severely, and a lot of people got very bullish over here. But sure enough, there's resistance. Price was also a little bit too far down away from these lines down here, so you're gonna have a little bit of an increased risk. Now, of course, sure enough, end up wicked, and a lot of people end up getting trapped over here. But it's okay, it's a bull trend. So price eventually went back up to around these levels and trying to break through the Ichimoku cloud again for the second month in a row. And this whole breaking into the cloud really just happened since yesterday, because we went up about 20 something percent yesterday. And so there was a pretty bullish price action yesterday, really pushed the price back inside the cloud. And right now, I can totally see us spending the next 6 days just kind of maybe going a little bit sideways here. And the idea is maybe this month, maybe even next month or the month after that, I can potentially see us back testing the top of this cloud, which is also coincidentally this volume shelf here. Volume shelf here basically represents the volume where the stock has traded hands at each of these prices. So for a price where, for example, 17, there's a lot of stock that have been traded hands at this level. So this level can potentially serve as a resistance or a support level that's pretty strong. There's a lot of memory. A lot of people remember selling or buying at this particular price, and there could be a lot of history here that could serve as resistance and support. Sure enough, initially when it first happened, when we hit this 17, we went above it, got rejected, went all the way back down and closed below it, right? And now it looks like we're trying to pass through that. So far, we're trying to get closer to the top of this volume shelf right up here, which is what we're doing. There's always a potential for the potentially even back test before going higher, or we may not have to, because technically, the case we kind of did that over here. Went above, and back tested underneath resistance, and now we're pushing through. So we don't necessarily have to go up and test down again before going up. The thing about it is that once we're able to break through about this volume shelf range right here, which I would kind of probably say, like up top here, maybe like 24-ish, which is where it got rejected before. Once we break above 24, and the bears know this, which is why I spend a lot of energy trying to push it down. And the bulls also know this, which is why they end up having tons of profit taking over here. But once you're really passing the 24-ish range, you're really talking about the sky's the limit, because there's really not a whole lot of resistance over here from the volume shelf standpoint. And there's not a whole lot of resistance between down here in the cloud. It's not going to go straight up like that. It's probably going to spend a few months kind of touching the cloud up here by the end of 2024 or even early 2025. I think it's probably going to get up to the cloud. Now, does the cloud mean anything? I actually don't know in this particular case, because CleanSpark didn't really become a Bitcoin miner until around like December 2020, which means that the price action before that, I'm not sure how much of it actually really means in terms of fundamental CleanSpark as to what a company is today. But all I do know is that the algorithms care. So maybe a lot of this is also a little bit algorithmic driven, where this level becomes important because it was important in the past, even though the price action may not necessarily in the past represent what CleanSpark is today. Regardless, this cloud right here is service resistance. Now it's trying to flip it from resistance into support. A lot of times things can happen where it push above the cloud and go back and test bottom of the cloud before going up. Got rejected on top of the cloud, come back down, try to find some kind of support before pushing above the cloud again. Right now, we're at the beginning stage where it's pushing into the cloud and looking like it's going to be pretty promising. I think we still have 6 days of trading left for the month. And anything can happen during these 6 days. You never know. But there's always a possibility where I think a strong possibility where it ends up closing above the cloud. And we're going to end up getting pretty decent support. The Tenkan and Kijun is probably going to keep going up as a result. And I think we might end up having a pretty good footing right here before this bullish continuation. Now, the buying volume has also been very impulsive during this bull run. You can see the straight up a buying volume just keep going up like that. There's a lot of institutional buying here as well. If you can pull up the banker fund flow, you can see, like, if you even look at fintel.io, which tells you the percentage of institutional buying and also the number of institutional shares being held. Back in February, if you look at fintel.io, there's an exponential increase. You can also see an exponential increase here on the Black Hat L3 banker fund flow trend oscillator, which tells you what the big money is doing. You can see there's a lot of inflow over here in February. In March, there's even more inflow. I'm excited to see what the fintel data is going to tell me. It's probably going to tell me the same thing, where there's a lot of exponential buying over here. There's also a lot of selling over here too because of resistance, but it looks like the stock has traded hands, and I think it seems like it's trading hands into the hands of a lot of the institutional buyers, when the retailers might just be kind of trying to trade these little moves here. But there could be potentially a big move that's coming. Once we're getting through about this resistance, there could be potentially a lot, bigger move that's coming. So I want to anticipate that move. Again, nothing's ever guaranteed. I'm just kind of showing you what I'm kind of seeing here. But I think there's a good chance that that's going to happen. No guarantees. Now, that is it for the monthly Ichimoku Cloud. You're going to pull up the Bollinger Band. You can see the Bollinger Band. Again, I've shown you this numerous times. I'm just going to remind you that Bollinger Band is expanding up and down. The greater the Bollinger Band expands, the higher or the lower the price is allowed to go. Right now, the upper Bollinger Band is kind of actually holding the price back down. It's actually kind of healthy to have a wick that touches the upper Bollinger Band. That tells you that there's at least some kind of anchor into upper Bollinger Band. The worst thing you want to see is price like being way outside upper Bollinger Band, because then you know that there's a magnet. A lot of traders know this. They're going to end up either selling or just not buying until Bollinger Band is being touched. Maybe a lot of this is kind of a little bit of self-fulfilling prophecy. I don't know. But the fact it's touching, it actually makes me feel safe that most likely it's going to end up having some kind of bullish continuation moving up over the next few months. And this is just kind of a little bit consolidating. It's waiting for the Bollinger Band to expand. It is expanding. So I think most likely there's going to be continued bullish continuation here. I also know that because the price has been touching up a Bollinger Band, looks like it's going one direction, and the 20-month moving average, just the median right here, is curling upwards. There's a little bit of exponential move up here as well. So all of this can signify that there is a pretty significant trend change that has started happening really around November, after you have a really green candle over here to help shift the trend. Now the majority of the time is being spent about on the upper part of the Bollinger Band here. This is a bull trend. This is a very nice bull trend. If you look at the weekly, I'm going to take off the Bollinger Band here, but if you want to just look at the Bollinger Band here real quick, it's still within the Bollinger Band. It's not way outside or anything like that. The 20-week is pushing up, so everything looks pretty healthy so far. I'm going to pull up the Bollinger Support Band here together with the 50 and 100 moving average for the weekly here. Price is a little bit above the 20-week moving average, which is okay. A lot of times, even during a very impulsive bull market, it doesn't always have to use a Bollinger Support Band as support to push up. It can just be above it and just keep going. Now, is there a chance for it to hit down here at around 11 or 12 or 13 when the band goes up a little bit over the next couple of weeks to push it even up higher? Test the very uptrending Bollinger Support Band before going up higher. There's always that possibility. I'm not sure it's going to happen. Looks like price has just been really ranging between the bottom of this volume shelf right around here, around 14 to 15, and to the upper range right here, which is right up here around the top of this volume shelf, right around here is 24. Maybe a little bit stronger volume shelf down here around 21. Looks like price has just been bouncing back and forth for the last 4 or 5 weeks, and it's trying to pick a direction. The direction is going to be up because there's a full bull trend, 20 above 50 above 100. This whole bull trend, where 20 above 50 above 100, this really started around January. So this bull trend is relatively new. Maybe over the last couple of months or so. You can already see, I mean, 20 was already about 50 for quite some time, really back in June. So there's already a pretty decent bull trend, but you end up having a little bit of uncertainty. You see that 100 serve as resistance and kind of push price down, but then you broke through it. You still serve a little bit of resistance here, but then you broke through it, have a full bull trend here. Most likely pricing it pretty compulsively, just keep going up with this full weekly bull trend, 20 over 50 over 100. Everything is pointing up. Sorry. So all this can serve as support. In addition to that, I think once we break above this, 17, 18 range, 18 and a half range, and if we're able to break above this whole volume shelf right here, I think Sky could potentially be the limit here because there's not a whole lot of resistance here on the volume shelf. So everything is looking pretty decent. Now, if you look at the Ichimoku cloud, I did see something very interesting here. The Ichimoku cloud, I mean, price is way above the Ichimoku cloud. This is a bull trend until proven otherwise. What's interesting about the Ichimoku cloud is not so much the cloud itself, but what the Tenkan and the Kijun is doing. It right now you still have a weekly bull trend. Tenkan is still above the Kijun, and over the last 3 weeks, price has tested the Tenkan nonstop 1, 2, and 3. Now, sometimes you say the more it tests something, the weaker it gets as support. But this is a bull trend. It is forming higher highs and higher lows. I can sing about it. You don't really need me to sing about it. It's forming higher highs and higher lows. And right now, even if it goes back down here to 13 to 11 and a half, even to 9, even if it goes already down to $7.50, which I don't think it's going to, because I think there's a lot of support in between here and there. Unless if something diabolical happens to the economy, to Bitcoin or to IWM, the small caps, I don't think it's going to end up plummeting down. I think it's probably going to end up finding support either here, potentially if it finds support down here around 13 where the Kijun is. I don't know, or it can just keep going up from here because right now we're at a volume shelf. We're back testing it. We broke out above it, back testing it, tested it multiple times. Found pretty good footing here. I think there's a potential for it just kind of keep blasting starting April or May. That's always a possibility after halving, depending on if Bitcoin is behaving, depending on what small caps are doing. Bitcoin could use a correction. It may not have to because there's a bunch of inflow going in. Small caps look like it's about to run. So this CleanSpark is a small cap stock, so most likely is also going to benefit from the same pool liquidity. And we'll see what happens. Anyway, it's been about 12, 13 minutes. I've kind of a little done listening to myself. I do want to show you one more thing. Is the L3 banker fund flow. So price consolidating here. Fund flow is also consolidating, but although overall it still have a little bit more inflow than outflow. It's just been kind of consolidating, waiting for the next move. The interesting thing too is the volume has been trending down, right? So this is a very much a consolidation move here. Nothing's happening. Volume's trending down. Price going sideways, inflow is still steady. Right now we're above a pretty critical support of around 17. If I have to guess, I don't think price necessarily push down and go up. I think price just goes up from here, but you never know. Here, if you want to just look at the daily, and I rarely look at daily, but I do want to look at daily for CleanSpark. I want to show you something. Look at the daily here, and for the daily, I'm going to pull up the Bollinger Band here. You can see there's a Bollinger Band squeeze right here. Bollinger Band squeeze meaning there's probably going to be a big move coming up. Bollinger Band squeeze, big move, right? Bollinger Band squeeze, big move down. Bollinger Band squeeze for a very, very long time, big move up. Right now, we're starting to get a little bit of Bollinger Band squeeze. Now, you remember what I said about Bollinger Band squeeze, which direction it's going to go? Depends on if the price wants to stay a little bit on the higher side, on the upper side of the Bollinger Band, or the lower side of the Bollinger Band. Right now, the price is on the upper part of the Bollinger Band. And this is happening as the Bollinger Band is expanding. I think most likely on the daily is telling us that most likely is going to end up going up from here. But daily chart is hard to read. The higher time frame, the more predictability you're going to have. That's why I always starting to monthly. Monthly trend is strong. Even if I make a mistake on the lower time frame, I'm okay. The greater trend is up, so I feel safe, relatively speaking. Not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you what I see in terms of risk versus benefits versus rewards. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I actually would almost want to say, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. Don't listen to me. But why am I talking though? I don't know. For some reason, you guys like these videos, so I'm just going to keep making them. Thank you very much. It's been 15 minutes. Have a good one. Bye.